Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to AIM Impact on Your Health. AIM Impact on Your Health, where every day our goal is to have you learn at least one thing to help you live better and longer. AIM Impact on Your Health is heard each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9 o'clock. I'm Dr. Dennis Courtney, and I'm with you each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9. AIM Impact on Your Health, where each day you'll find current medical news, knowledgeable guests, fascinating health topics, and of course where we do encourage you to call in to join in. It is a Friday, and it is a conventional get 'em up out of town version of the show. We're going to invite you to come on in at any moment and set the agenda as you see it. Lot to talk about, lot coming up in this month. We have turned the page, by the way. Today's May 1. Yes, we are May 2015, and a hot month it is around here with guests and the themes. I just been looking forward to this one for a few weeks now that I've been putting this together. You'll see what I mean. A lot on the eyes, folks. Do cataract clinic this month. More about that in the up and coming moments. If you want to call in to ask a question or to make a comment, the numbers you should know by now is to dial us up at 412-825-6262. That's 412-825-6262. I'll listen for that knock on the door, and I will let you in the store. So let's take a look at the agenda. It is shaping up rather nicely on Monday. Boy, you don't want to miss it. Action-packed Monday. Starts right off in the morning with a gentleman you haven't met before, but I sure have. His name is Dr. Todd Wiley. He's an eye doctor from out there in the state of Washington. I met him first at a conference held in St. Petersburg, Florida, last October, when he introduced me to the Beamer. You're going to find out a lot about the Beamer. It's not the one you drive around town in, not that Beamer, to the chagrin of my children. No, this is a Beamer with a health benefit you just want to hear about, especially when it comes to cataracts. And he ought to know he's an eye doctor. He'll be with us in the morning on Monday. Don't miss that show, especially if you do have cataracts. And then piggybacking right off of that, I'll mention it probably multiple times this morning, but if you do have cataracts, or if you know somebody that does, and they're languishing and anguishing over the potential surgery to remove the cataract, by the way, underline that word cataract. You don't remove a cataract, you remove the entire lens. And sometimes when I tell patients that, they look at me like, oh my God, I thought it just took out a cataract. Hey, the cataract is the lens. The lens has got to go, and an artificial one put in its place. There are problems with that. This will continue to keep coming out as time moves on. Monday, a big day when it comes to introducing you to the eye doctor who's utilized some pretty unique therapies and has a wonderful track record on reversing cataracts, and I mean immediately. And, of course, we'll have our free seminar here in the office on Monday evening at 7 o'clock. Now, if you are the one that's afflicted or if you know someone, give us a call today to sort of reserve a seat for you here in the office so we know he's coming. The number to call is 724-942-3002. Today, Sister Sarah is out of town. Convey your message to Kim, and she'll get it written down. Okay. Next Wednesday, Hey, folks, next Wednesday is first Wednesday of the month. You know what happens around here on first Wednesdays. She, I mean the Vavavoom doctor from the West Coast, Dr. Susan Smith Jones, will be our guest, and we always look forward to having her come aboard. The following Monday, gentlemen, you have met on, I think, two different occasions. It's been a while now. His name is Tom Lowe. The last time he was on our show, he was talking about ultraviolet blood irradiation because he's the gentleman that I keep seeing in all of the conferences that I go to, especially if they're ozone related, because the ideal pairing up of two therapies that have a synergistic double whammy capability to improve you are ozone and ultraviolet blood irradiation. We do the two treatments simultaneously here in the office. Well, Tom Lowe really has the devices that we certainly use, and he's got a couple new pieces of equipment. One, an in-home ozone unit for those who are thinking about being able to do ozone at home. Rectal insufflation is one such way to get pretty adequate amounts of ozone in the blood. We'll be talking to Tom about, I believe, a very reasonably priced unit, the most reasonable I've seen anyway, when he's with us on the 11th. On the 13th, now he's been here many times before. Of course, he and his famous wife, Patricia Kane, from New Jersey, Millville, New Jersey, it's in Center, New Jersey. I've been going to conferences with Patricia since way back in, I think, 2002 is when we kicked that one off. But he has come up with a unique way of doing mineral replacements, the unique way of testing and the unique way of replacing those minerals. And on the other end of that, essentially doing what we'll call natural chelation. Now, no one's ever really looked at it this way before, except for him. And we'll be describing another component of how we're going to be treating heavy metal toxicity, and I believe of the least possible harmful way of chelating out heavy metals. I know many of you have some negative opinion about doing IV chelation. I can understand it, and even doing oral, and I'm having problems with it now, except in the most specific of cases. So on the 13th, Ed Kane will be here to talk about his invention, which is this mineral testing kit that we're going to be using from Body Bio. More on that subject. Now, then that week, on Thursday the 14th in the evening, because you asked for it and you have responded, you have continually let us know that you want to learn more about essential oils. And in particular, those essential oils that are manufactured by a company called Young Living. And we've teamed the two up since the inception of that topic here on the radio and within the office. And you've been a number of those representing the Young Living Company. The newest representative, Sharon Bovalina, local to my office, literally in the backyard here, but she's generated a lot of interest. And we are going to meet on the 14th, a Thursday, in the evening at 7 o'clock for those that want to learn about essential oils. This means that you've never been in or attended any one of these meetings before, and you want to find out how to use essential oils for you. This is the place to come. Give us a call, 724-942-3002, so that we can reserve a seat for you. You've responded wonderfully last month. We'll see if we can keep it going. That's the 14th, and I've already given you the number. Now, the following week, on Monday, John Tobridge, first-timer coming aboard, but not a first-timer in my Rolodex. I've known this gentleman for at least 20 years now, and he is a bright beacon of information when it comes to chelation therapy. This topic has been hot since I met with the top docs in St. Petersburg 2 or 3 weekends ago, where we put together and launched a new book. I revealed that I actually had the book before I even went to the conference because the book was already out. It was nice to be able to go there, and all 16 of these so-called top docs came and shared their approach to using chelation therapy, and John Tobridge did such a great job. in presenting his work, I said, you got to bring that aboard to tell my listeners about chelation therapy. So everything you want to know about chelation therapy, he's the guy to ask, and he's our guest on the 18th. Then also in the Top Doc group, and he was in the initial Top Docs, which remember got kicked off last summer when we presented our chapters at a conference held in Phoenix, Arizona. It's called the Top Doc, Top 20 Alternative Docs in the Country, and every one of those 20 devoted a chapter of their work to the book. We've had great success with the book. We do have both books here in the office for those of you who would like to purchase them. The initial one, the Top 20 Docs from the Phoenix conference, and now this one from a couple of weeks ago, the Top 20 Docs. Again, well, not 20, there's 16. But those who specialize in doing chelation therapy, it is everything you ever wanted to know about chelation. And maybe you weren't afraid to ask, you just didn't know who to ask. Well, it's there in the book. Give us a call, 724-942-3002. The point in mentioning all this, of course, was that Lee Cowden, who I met for the first time in Phoenix last summer at the Top Doc conference, was one of the Top Docs this last couple of weeks ago, and contributed a unique presentation on energetic therapies. There's a lot of interest out there on energetic therapies, but he blew me away with his command of all of them. In fact, he wrote a book about it. We'll be giving you information on how to get that book. If energy medicine is something you really espouse, and I absolutely espouse it, Lee Cowden is the go-to source. I've said, please give us a discussion about all the energetic therapies, how they work, and how you feel personally, because you've used them all, which ones work best and why. And you don't want to miss that show. That's the 20th of May. That's a Wednesday. Now, by the way, have you noticed I haven't even taken a breath? This is why May is such a hit, with just one thing after another. And get a load of this one now. A 40th anniversary. It's the anniversary of the Freedom and Choice in Cancer Therapy Group. They will be celebrating their 40th anniversary event up there in Butler, where it all began. We found out the other day it started in the bottom of a bank. Well, it moved around a bit. Now, I think the location in Butler that everybody's familiar with is the Days Inn, and the 40th anniversary will meet at the Days Inn, just south of Butler, right side of the road, going north on Route 8, about a mile south at the Days Inn. 7 o'clock, and Faith and Dave are going to be the speakers in that particular event. I'm really going to try to make it up there. Got spoiled, by the way, the thing being held down here in Oakwood. This is one of a kind. You don't want to miss it. And my hat's off to this organization. They have been a beacon of information for the layperson for all these years, and I've enjoyed being able to help promote them, and I wish them all the success. I'm sure they're going to do very, very well. So did you think that was enough? By the way, if you didn't, how about let me add this. We're going to start a new clinic for the eyes. We've been affiliated with Dr. Edward Conrad for a long time now, focusing on eye programs and his wonderful way of reversing the retinal diseases. We've been holding these programs once a month since July of 2013, but we're going to start alternating because people who have cataracts want a better way of getting them reversed. And although they've been helpful by the Conrad 3-day program, they needed to have a special way, a very special way of getting them reversed at a much higher rate. That's why we're going to offer the first cataract clinic here in this office the week of 18, 19, 20, and 21. It's a 4-day program, and we expect tremendous turnarounds in the highest percentage of cases. I'll be giving you vignettes and pieces of this today and other days as the month rolls on. But if you are afflicted with cataracts and you're to the point now where your eye doctor is really nudging you to have that surgery done, and for you to get to that point, you know how poor your vision is now with all the halos around everybody and the blurring, and especially nighttime driving which is just downright dangerous for you. You want to avoid that surgery? Be a part of the Cataract Clinic. Give us a call here, 724-942-3002. I will describe the entire clinic and what will take place within it at the Monday seminar. So once again, let's mention it. The Cataract Clinic is going to be held, the Cataract Clinic seminar is going to be held this coming Monday, 7 o'clock here in the office, to describe where we stand with cataracts now and what the components of the Cataract Clinic will be. And obviously starts out on day 1 with assessments and ends on day 4 with assessments, objective and quantifiable information that we've attained the goals that we've set, as well as, we hope, some pretty happy people who'll be able to leave us on Thursday after starting on Monday with their cataracts and know that the surgery can be left behind. Okay, that's me. Wow. Just want to mention, because I think so much of them, all the way out in June. It's the first time I could bring him here. The man is so busy. We got Dr. David Minkoff. He's from Clearwater, but the subject is Lyme's disease, and I call him the gunslinger. When you hear him describe how he treats Lyme, you'll think a lot of him too. I certainly do. Dr. David Minkoff won't be here until June 17th, but already we're filling in the gaps for June. All right, folks. Look, let's just take a short break and sort of switch some gears, allowing you to switch into participation mode if you've got the idea to become a participant. Of course, you know to do that, you dial us up at 412-825-6262. That's 412-825-6262. We'll be back in a moment, and I'll take over for a while and listen for that knock on the door. See you in a moment. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back once again to AIM Impact on Your Health. Heard here in KHB 620 each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9 o'clock. I'm Dr. Dennis Courtney with you on a Friday morning, get 'em up, out of town version of the show. We cordially invite you to come on in and set the agenda as you might like to see it done. You do that by dialing a number, 412-825-6262. That's 412-825-6262. And then I listen for a knock on the door, and I'll let you in the store. By the way, there is somebody knocking on the door. Come on in the store. Hello, welcome aboard. What's on your mind? Go right ahead.
Morning, Dr. Courtney. I hope my phone hangs in there enough. I wanted to touch on something that you've mentioned about the UV aspect of the artificial lenses in cataract surgery.
Yes.
My parents, one of them has had a surgery, and the other one, my mother has a lot of health problems and is just tired of wearing glasses and has a low degree of cataracts that has correct the vision issue. So she just wants to get it to get rid of the vision problem.
Sure.
She probably doesn't expect to live a long time, so she just wants to get rid of it. And they claim that their eye doctor has said that whether progressive or advanced lenses block out the bad UV rays. Don't know if that's true, but at least that's what I've been told. And secondly, what do you know about that? That would be part one. Two, what about just getting it if you have a low degree of cataract, if it indeed blocks the bad UV stuff? And would it also block the good UV rays that enables you to absorb the good light? What do you know about any of those?
Well, let's just say that there have been, and I've read the reports, new materials that supposedly are being used in lens that are that claim that they can shield you from the harmful UV lights, okay? Now, they're so new that there's no research yet that I can come to you and say, oh, look, they've been out in the marketplace, people have been using them, and research indicates these things work pretty good, okay? So I actually say to you, I'm familiar with the claim. I don't know about the payoff yet, and so we need to wait. I can tell you this, that I'm beginning to develop a pretty large Rolodex of eye doctors, whether they're ophthalmologists or whether they are optometrists. And if I want to get accurate information, I actually need to go to the optometrists and not the ophthalmologist. That seems a little weird because it's the ophthalmologists that literally do the surgery to put in these new lenses. I believe, by the way, that's the problem. They have a financial incentive to promote the use of this surgery, and I don't believe we're getting straight information from them. So I go get my information from the optometrists who don't do the surgery, have no financial incentive other than the health of their patients, and they tell me almost to the person that if somebody's going to have that surgery done, they are to assume that if you thought you weren't going to wear glasses anymore, forget it, because you're going to at least wear clear glasses that filter out the UV light. That's how much they don't believe in whatever they're trying to sell out there, okay? So I'm just sharing with you a topic that I'm amplifying each and every day. There's hot information coming. I guess if one had to select somebody to do the surgery, that would be the first question, that they should be inserting a lens, because as you probably already, a lens that shields you from the UV light, because as you should probably already know, and apparently you do, 70% of the people who get cataract surgery with lens implantation will develop macular degeneration within 2 years of having received it. And you mentioned your mom being older and probably not living that much longer, and I guess we all look at this from a different perspective. It's just that there are some younger people too that absolutely plan on living a heck of a lot longer than a couple years, and for those especially, this should be a big item, and attempting to avoid the surgery is probably a real smart thing to do.
One other thing, the one time you quoted when you were introducing your seminar on Monday, you said that 26 out of 28 had a
23 out of 26.
Okay.
Okay.
Reversal significantly or even completely in the cataracts. Any of those have corrective vision if they had vision problems?
Well, you know what? I intend on Monday to question the guy who made that quote. His name is Dr. Todd Wiley. He is going to be my guest on Monday morning. He's the one that introduced me to this new beamer technology. He's the one that made the statement. I'm going to probe him pretty doggone intensely on what he experienced. Now, that quote comes from a YouTube video he made a number of months ago. I'm wondering what the number is now, because it was 23 out of 26. What is it now, and what does that mean that they had a substantial improvement in their cataracts? And I can't really answer that question today, but you'll hear the answers on Monday. Don't miss the show.
Thanks, Dr. Courtney.
Absolutely my pleasure. There you go. Yeah, a lot of questions out there about cataracts. I'm really looking forward to Todd. I got a text. Do a lot of texting now, by the way. Didn't even know how to do that a year ago. Doing a lot of texting, and we're going back and forth. Actually, Todd from the state of Washington is going to be visiting his daughter at college in Chicago, so that he won't have to get up at an ungodly hour. It just happened to work just fine. So on Monday morning, we'll be talking to Todd Wiley, Dr. Todd Wiley, while he visits his daughter in Chicago, and he should be fresh, bright-eyed, and bushy-tailed, and be able to discuss his findings and his experience with cataracts. And as an eye doctor, he certainly sees his share of them. I'm really excited to bring him to you. I've really enjoyed a lot that he's been able to teach me, and hopefully he'll be able to pass it on to you. And don't forget that cataract clinic now that's coming up in the month of May, which is a lot of focus going into this, 18, 19, 20, 21. If you want to find out about it, what it's going to contain, what the protocol is going to be within it, then you want to be here on Monday evening at 7 o'clock. We have a meeting on a seminar on a description of cataracts and how we should be able to get those turned around in the highest percentage of cases, and give you an opportunity to probe me and question me about it. I'm glad it's coming after the show with Todd, because I think the Beamer is going to occupy a large part of our discussion. Hey, we've opened it up to you today. You know, you can come on in here at any moment and set the agenda as you see it. You just dial us up at 412-825-6262. That's 412-825-6262. I wanted to mention, by the way, that the new hot off the press lifestyle medicine journals, the spring edition, I believe, hit the stands next week. I've written an article in it, this particular edition, called The Cataract Cure. I thought it was appropriate after they titled it. Yes, I thought that's a wonderful way to title it, Cataract Cure. You'll want to get a free copy of that. They'll be in a lot of medical offices throughout the area and all the health food stores. That's the publication put out by Sven Hosford, and we're happy to support. Hey, got another knock on the door. Come on in the store. Hello, welcome aboard. What's on your mind?
Hi, Dr. Courtney.
Hi.
I had a question about the cane protocol there with minerals. I went on their site and saw several YouTube videos.
Ah, yes, from Ed.
Yeah. And what was surprising to me was how long he said he's been using these. And I mean, I haven't heard anything about this. Not that I'm that familiar with their line of stuff, but he said decades, it seemed like he's been using it. So I wondered, how long has their protocol with the minerals and all that been available commercially?
Yeah, well, of course, Ed put this together a number of years ago. And you mentioned something I would just allow any of the listeners to go to. Go to bodybio.com, and on the opening page, there's Ed doing his part 1, 2, and 3 on the minerals. I think it's a great, he does it pretty quickly, so you won't have to get down in the weeds here. But Ed was talking about his own heavy metal toxicities, and it took him, he says, 2 years. Am I right about that? So 2 years.
Right.
Yeah, 2 years to get it reversed. Now, I had a question come up, the first question from people saying, my God, it took 2 years, and that shows me that they weren't really on the right page here. I'm the one that's been trying to go after reversing people in their heavy metal toxicity, and I can tell you it can easily take 2 years.
And some even say, I know I've heard Klinghardt videos, and he'll say some people taking him 7 or 8 years.
Oh yeah, so I've actually become very frustrated. You know, I'm using harsh agents. I'm actually saying it now. I don't think that that's an appropriate thing to do, except in the most isolated cases. But using things like ETA and DMPS, these are pharmaceuticals that I'd like to be able to avoid. And so I want to thank Ed Kane, that is, for developing this approach, which has now been in play. I think he developed, I'm going to ask him when I have him on the show when it was that finally hit. So I don't think I can answer the question, how long has that been commercially available? I know as long as I've known Ed, and that's going back, well, at least 12 years now. it's been available, and he continues to check his metals each and every week. The man's 80-something years old. He's as bright as one can get. His wife, Patricia, takes great pride in Ed's ability to just continue to move on and not really show signs of aging. I think heavy metals have played a large role in how well he's doing. And
yeah, he was very sharp, and I could be mistaken, but I could have sworn he said he's been doing the mineral thing for like 30 years.
Well, that could very well be true. You know, he and Patricia have been doing this work for 30 years, and Patricia was on top of the mineral issues from day one. As to when that unique little kit hit the marketplace, I don't know, but I'm going to find out.
And I think it's genius. I mean, I think there will be some people who will say it's too much trouble.
Well, I think if somebody is looking to find out their mineral deficiencies with precision and is able to get on the back end of that, jettisoning their heavy metals while they're improving their healthy ones, this can't be done in any other way that I know.
Well, and as you said, without it being a harsh agent.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to use those. I told the group, by the way, I don't think they were happy with me when I was at the Top Doc thing, and I was giving my presentation, which was on natural chelation therapy, and these minerals were part of it. I told the group there, most of them, all of the most involved physicians in the country on chelation therapy, I said, guys, I know why you did what you did. I did it for the same reasons, but you got to take a look. You can't be saying on the one hand how you don't use meds, how open-minded you are, how health-oriented you are, how you don't use toxic substances, and then on the other side of your mouth, whenever it suits you, use some of the harshest agents known to mankind. There is a disconnect there. And they were not happy when I told them that, but hopefully they've reflected on it, and I've got many calls from the docs who were there who are asking me more on this subject, and I think I told Ed and Patricia, look for some docs to be in the next conference that they hold, because they were very intrigued by this.
Yeah, and in the past, if that's the only option they had, but that's not so now with this new method, and it's just such a way to finally...
Right.
What you need, and we all know that our needs change on a daily or weekly basis, but you know, most of us are clueless. We take our magnesium supplements or whatever, and you know, hope that we're getting enough or that we're not getting too much. So this is very exciting.
Well, it sure is, and thanks for mentioning. Please, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to learn what our listener has already garnished, go to bodybio.com. On the opening page, Ed is there, and he has part 1, 2, and 3 of this description of heavy metals. It won't take but maybe 10 minutes to go through all 3 of them, and by the time you're done, you'll know what the heck we're talking about and why I've been so excited and took that message to the top docs a couple of weeks ago. This is going to be amplified in my office, and hopefully I will be able to assist you and help you without harming you, which is should be the whole doggone idea behind it.
And congratulations, Dr. Courtney, for being the leader again, particularly here in Pittsburgh.
Thank you so much. Keep on listening. I know who I'm talking to. And
okay.
Thank you for all you've taught me. There you have it. There you go. Very enlightened listener. I know this lovely young lady, and I think she got the take-home message. Take-home message is you want to do these great things, but you don't want to suffer any consequence in having done so. So for years now, using EDTA and DMPS, by the way, wow, what a harsh, potentially dangerous substance that is. So you can't carry the crucifix of I'm here to help, and so it's not justifiable for me to use all these potentially harmful substances because I'm there to help. No, there's another way. I believe this probably makes the most sense. And if you want to find out more about it, go to bodybio.com. That's Ed's site. That's his company. And on the opening page, you can look at those 3 YouTube videos. And then, of course, be here on the 13th because Ed is going to be in attendance. And when I happened to speak to Ed, he and his wife Patricia had just returned from Dubai. And I happened to have called the office just as they were walking in after what he told me was 23 straight hours in the air. He was still bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, the 80-plus-year-old gentleman. I didn't even talk to Patricia. And by the way, should be well healed up now. But he'll be raring to go on the 13th. So get a little preliminary by going to his website, bodybio.com. Look at the 3 videos, or just wait until it comes on, because I believe we'll be able to rehash the same thing for you then. Okay, let's take another short break. When we come back, I'll listen for knocks on the door. You may want to give us a call at 412-825-6262. I got some things I can share with you, like 5 types of sugar, which are good for you, which are not, which ones to jettison, which ones to embrace. Be right back in a moment. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back once again to AIM Impact on Your Health here in a Friday morning version of our show. It is a get 'em up out of town version of the show. You can come on in here and set the agenda as you see it by dialing us up at 412-825-6262. That's 412-825-6262. A lot of hubbub in the air around here. Big month, launching a new program, cataracts, and how to avoid them. And I'm very excited about bringing you information that make you the better consumer and make better decisions, health decisions for you. In that category, I guess, and in keeping with it, stumbled across this article. I think it's appropriate. The byline for this article is 5 types of sugars, which to reach for and which to skip. And this is not from any alternative publication. In fact, the reason why it caught my eye is that this is straight from conventional medicine and allowing them and the research model to permeate through these 5 sugars. And there have been multiple studies done in each one of these cases. And I thought it'd be nice to share with you what the big boys are saying about this item of sugar, and they are not happy. Sugar, they say, and especially high fructose corn syrup, they say now represents by far the largest source of calories for Americans. It's the major contributing factor to U.S. obesity. According to the Cleveland Clinic, and you go, that's the big words here, that consuming excess sugar has also been linked to increased risk for inflammatory disease. I mean, that link is well established. High blood pressure and diabetes. The American Heart Association recommends women limit their daily consumption of daily added sugars to about 6 teaspoons. By the way, it's whopping them up, but only 100 calories in 6 teaspoons. And then they say to 9 teaspoons, about 150 calories. That standard alone may be challenging enough to meet, but as sugar in the Western diet often hides in places consumers don't realize, spotting it and limiting intake can even be more difficult. Now, there are 5 forms of sugars that can either harm or benefit your health, let's take a look at these categories and see what the big boys themselves have to say about them. As far as the simple sugars go, you know that one, dextrose, fructose, glucose, they're all monosaccharides, and they're known as simple sugars. Table sugar and high fructose corn syrup use these simple sugars in combination to take the monosaccharides, hook some molecules together, and make them even more problematic as disaccharides. And they are the most harmful sugars, wreaking havoc on your metabolic system and expanding your waistline trying to avoid them. Now, categories, 5 of them. Sugar alcohols. You've seen these, and you keep reading them in their various colored envelopes, you know, the pink, the blue, and the yellow. Xylitol, glycerol, sorbitol, maltitol, mannitol, erythritol, and they are neither sugars nor alcohols, but are becoming increasingly popular. Sweeteners, they are incompletely absorbed by your small intestines for the most part, so they provide fewer calories than sugar, but often cause problems with bloating, diarrhea, and the like. Now, this isn't getting into the issue of the cephalic response. They completely blew by that one. As you know, any of these very sweet substances, when they hit the tongue, they cause hormonal releases, in particular insulin, that just blow the whole idea for why you took them anyway. I'm reporting to you what they, meaning conventional medicine, is saying about sugars, and so let's see what they have to say. They say that sugar substitutes like sucralose, sold in the United States as Splenda, is not a sugar, despite its sugar-like name and a deceptive marketing slogan made from sugar. Turns out it's chlorinated artificial sweetener. It's like Clorox in an envelope, and in line with aspartame and saccharin, which are the other 2 colored envelopes. Let's see here. The sugar substitutes. Sugar-laden additives. Here we go. Agave syrup was the rage a few years ago. It was heralded for having a low glycemic index and marketed as an additive that would cause blood sugar spikes, but is typically high processed and contains up to 80% fructose. Hey, agave isn't the great, wonderful substitute you thought it was. 80% fructose? That means high fructose corn syrup has less fructose than agave does. Who didn't know that? I didn't know that. The end product does not even remotely resemble the original agave plant's nectar. Honey, on the other hand, is about 53% fructose in its processed form and is essentially the same as sugar, maybe a little worse. So, what are the healthier alternatives to sugar? Well, honey, as we already mentioned, is to be considered. How about this one? Coconut sugar, brown rice syrup, and yakan root powder. And the syrup can similarly offer sweetness without posing health risks. This comes from the guy we've had on our show many times, published a book recently. His name is Dr. David Perlmutter. He's a neurologist located in Naples, Florida, and he is a shining star in the conventional world that is able to straddle the line and take a walk on both sides of the street, equally able to conjure up the respect of his colleagues from both the conventional and the non-conventional world. Anyway, that's some sugar information that you didn't know about that maybe you do know about now. Hey, you want to come on in here and give us a call at 412-825-6262. That's 412-825-6262. And set the agenda as you see it. We're going to take one last break, folks, and then be back for the gun lap. I got some more to share with you. If you'd like to take over this thing, that number will get you in command, 412-825-6262. We'll be back in a moment for the conclusion. the hell? Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to AIM Impact on Your Health. Here we are in the gun lap portion of the show. As we're coming around to that home stretch, you may want to give us a call and take command and ask questions, make comments. Anything on your mind is okay with me. The number to do that is 412-825-6262. I'll try to handle as many calls as you'd like to make in at this moment. We do have a knock on the door. Come on in the store. Hello and welcome aboard. What's on your mind? Go right ahead.
Hi, Dr. Courtney. My name is Steve. I have a question regarding the sugars that you were just speaking of.
Sure.
You didn't mention stevia leaf. What about that? Does that trigger the same cephalic response?
It triggers the cephalic. It is a healthy, natural substance on the one hand, but the cephalic gets tripped. So, in a sense, you're right back in the hormonal mess that you are in when you take any of the other forms of sweetened sweeteners. I will say that this last came up as a result of a unique product made by a company known as Beresha. I don't know if you've heard us talk about it, but they actually make a sweetener that blunts and doesn't allow the cephalic response to kick in. Now, I don't know how they did it, but they did it. And it was because of their work that they even explained that there is something called a cephalic response. Nobody else seemed to ever want to talk about that issue. And I think the reason that they didn't want to talk about it is because they had a full gush of hormones that their product was able to provoke. This product does not. Go to Beresha.com to find out more about the product, or come into our office. We have samples of it we can give you. Okay?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Very good question. Yeah, Beresha, that sweetener that they made, nothing artificial in it. Blunts the cephalic response. I don't know of a sweetener that doesn't, and isn't it odd that stevia, a great natural, I mean, there's no biochemical harm to come to you, but if you get that gush of hormones, you've created a biochemical nightmare, and you best want to avoid it. Hey, we got another knock on the door. Come on aboard. Hello, what's on your mind? Go right ahead.
Good morning, Dr. Courtney.
Hey, I know that voice. It's been a while. How have you been?
Friend Bob here.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, I can't, compliment you enough on your show. It's my morning stimulant, at least today and Friday. And at least I have NPR I can listen to the other days. But lately, I've heard there's our good government is after the homeopaths currently, and I wondered if you heard anything about it. It's been in the popular press, but apparently the assault is going to go on for some time, and they have not let up, certainly on supplements and herbs and vitamins. But the current assault that I've heard about is on homeopathic medicine. They apparently think that it's a citadel of pseudoscience, and of course I know your buddy Ed Conrad is big on homeopathy.
Sure.
And
well, let me tell you what I do know. I actually apologize because I've been following this a lot closer than you as the listener might have garnished from my discussion on the air.
Okay.
But here's what I know. When I was in St. Petersburg 2 weeks ago, Gary Gordon, the godfather of chelation therapy,
the torch. I mean, with the blowtorch.
Oh, man. And anyway, he was going to be leaving St. Petersburg to go to Washington, D.C. to present the FDA, not Congress, FDA had invited him to present supporting information for homeopathy. He is the current president of the AHIMA, the Arizona Homeopathic and Integrative Medical Association.
Okay.
And so in that sense, he represents the organization in the country that promotes the use of homeopathy. And in my discussion with him, and I've read how these hearings are going with the FDA, they left 2 full days of comment go by allowing people to present. He was one of them. Essentially what I know is this. They were treated, they being doctors like Dr. Gordon, very kindly by the FDA, who at this point does control all homeopathic medications. And they're manufactured under the scrutiny of the FDA. And that's been a good thing. However,
I agree.
They are interested in taking a comment on the homeopathics that are released to the public, not the ones released to homeopathists. Okay, so
okay.
if you are a doctor, naturopathic or not, and you're trained in homeopathy, and you can dispense the FDA form because they're the more concentrated form, there's no issue with that. The issue is the public being taken out of the equation, which I think is a serious harm that they want to prevent. And the way I got this thing so far, because I've had emails sent to me from Dr. Gordon and others, is that they don't think anything's going to change with this. I don't know what lit it up, but homeopathy is so well entrenched that to remove the consumer ability to obtain these products, I don't think they're going to go there. At least that's what I'm being informed of when I get the emails from.
No, that is indeed good news because according to a spokesperson from, I think it's called Newton's Homeopathics, that I heard on the radio just yesterday, that we're in a comment period which lasts up to June 22nd, according to my notes, that we can comment to FDA if we've had any favorable, favorable or unfavorable comments about homeopathy in our own personal lives, sort of a grassroots kind of commentary. But that's the first I heard that we were in a comment period, and it's relatively short. And they want you to contact, at least according to this representative of Newton's Homeopathics, that there were some organizations out there, the Natural Products Association, American Association of Homeopathic Pharmacists, and the National Center for Homeopathy. Contact any one of those organizations, and they apparently have information on those websites that you can make your comments on. So
give me a website name. So
there's some kind of assault.
Give our listeners a website to go to comment if they have a mind to. You got one in mind?
Yeah. I think a good one would be. Well, I'll give you a couple of them. It's always the World Wide Web, www. But we have the NPA, National Products Association info.org.
Okay.
Is one, and the other one I said American Association Homeopathic Pharmacists. Now that's AAHP.info.
Okay.
That's another one you can. I'm sure if you Google these, Google always helps you find these sites. At least they do for me.
Sure.
And then there's also the National Center for Homeopathy.org that's the only 3 that I actually have, but I bet you could find more. You just mentioned that one from
Mahima.
that Gary Gordon heads up. That's a different one.
Yeah, that's the Arizona Homeopathic and Integrative Medical Association. Uniquely, Arizona has 2 medical boards. Physicians can, for the most part, go through the conventional approach, and they have a medical board that is there to adjudicate any complaints that may come up with a doctor who delivers conventional medicine. But if you are a homeopathic or alternative doctor, they have their own medical board. Really, yeah, that's why everybody moves to
know of that has such a.
There's one other state. I'm going to say Nevada, but I might be wrong. I'm just so happy with the setup in Arizona.
Oh, yeah.
And that's every time I read about one of my friends who's involved with alternative medicine. They started at some state, they left it, and they moved to Phoenix, and everybody's in Phoenix. So it's always a good.
It's kind of interesting. It's what limited knowledge I have that Hahnemann created it on the East Coast, and now we don't have any states that
exactly
offer that.
Sam Hahnemann.
States to westward.
Well, look, I promise to bring you. Maybe I'll get Dr. Gordon. Maybe I'll actually get Dr. Gordon to come and talk about his experience and share with you where he thinks this is all going. And you're right about the comment period up into, you say June 20th, I think what you said?
What was that now?
The comment period is between now and June 20th. Did I hear that right?
June 22nd.
June 22nd. Okay.
Yeah.
There you have it, folks.
Comment period. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Robert. Look, enjoyed being with you today, folks. I want you all to have a wonderful weekend. Yes, we turned the page in May, and we got a lot to cover coming up. You don't want to miss Monday. Todd Wiley in the morning and the seminar on cataracts in the evening. Have a wonderful weekend. See you then.